Well, thank you for having me here. I'd like to thank Susan and all the members of your OLLI board for inviting me to teach my baseball class here. I've taught the course at Dominican University Osher program, as well as at Sonoma State and a couple of other venues. And it's always been a lot of fun for the students and for me. But I know that OLLI courses aren't supposed to be just fun, right? There must be an intellectual depth and a scholarly component to the course. And I think you'll find that I've made this sufficiently intellectually rigorous to pass muster. I'll prove that by quoting Jacques Barzun for you, right? He said in the 1950s, and this quote turns up in almost every book about baseball history and culture of baseball, if you want to understand the hearts and minds of America, you better learn baseball. And what most people don't know is 30 years later, Barzun had recoiled from his passion for the national pastime and said, baseball disgusts me. It's all about greed now. So in my course, we'll try to trace the evolution and the changes and attitudes about baseball that Americans have held from the 19th century to the present. As one of our previous speakers, Gloria, mentioned, it's a huge subject, a gigantic subject, and really too big to tackle in a 4-week course. So I thought, how do you shape and mold such a vast, sprawling mass of material into kind of a coherent subject matter for a month-long course? And I decided to break it down into 4 components. What are 4 necessary ingredients to have Major League Baseball? One is you must have fans. Without fans, no baseball. It's sort of like if a forest falls in a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, does it make a noise? I would argue no. And the same would be true with baseball. If you don't have fans, you don't have the game. So in lecture 1, we'll look at who the fans are, why they care so passionately, and how they affect the game also. We'll talk about the sort of new breed of uber fan that has changed the way baseball is actually structured. I'm speaking of people like Nate Silver, for example, who not only predicts elections, but is an analyst for ESPN, crunching baseball numbers. Week 2, we'll look at who the players are and how the demographics of Major League Baseball, professional baseball in general, has changed over the last 50 years from being essentially a lily-white sport to now a full international integrated sport. Week 3, we'll look at the brass, I call it, and that is the people that direct the players, the managers, the coaches, the scouts, the people behind the scenes who make a Major League Baseball game happen. And week 4 is entitled The Media in Baseball, and it's a study of how our perceptions are molded by sports announcers, particularly radio broadcasters. So I hope those of you that have an interest in American culture and baseball will join us in June. It will be here, right, Susan, on Monday afternoons.
Oh, we're not certain, but we're...
Okay, it'll be sometime in June. We know that much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mick.